very good evening. Welcome to World Now at 4. I am Udwak Daniel. First, let's talk the headlines. And on the headlines, Buhari prays for peace, prosperity. Still on the headlines, Rwandan court upholds Hotel Rwanda hero's 25-year sentence. Also on the headlines, Spain joins other countries in expelling Russian diplomats. Bringing you more headlines, Salah to sign Liverpool contract. Electoral Act will not warrant credible polls. And now the news in detail. The Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, on Monday said the Electoral Act 2022 alone would not guarantee credible polls unless all stakeholders imbibe the spirit of the law. It also disclosed that over 700,000 permanent voter cards, that is the PVCs, are yet to be collected by owners in Oyo State. The state's resident electoral commissioner, that is REC, Dr. Mutiu Adboke, stated this in an exclusive interview with The Guardian in Ibadan, the state capital. He, however, said the Electoral Act would be effective if all stakeholders abide by the law, emphasizing that unless laws are implemented by the appropriate authorities, they will not curb the shenanigans on the election day. The REC said the INEC had the opportunity to deploy technology to conduct elections, adding that whatever law given to the electoral body is what it must work with. According to Agboke, when INEC is thinking in the direction of deepening the process of electioneering with credibility, the stakeholders, that is the politicians and the political parties, should not come up with the idea of ensuring the whole thing is thwarted. He further encouraged the stakeholders to protect the body, INEC, to make progress while conducting the election. The REC, however, expressed the readiness of the body to conduct the 2023 polls. Moving away from that story, Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari on Monday, April 4, 2022, joined Muslims at the State House Mosque in Abuja, Federal Capital Territory, that is FCT, to pray for peace and prosperity as they marked the commencement of the Ramadan Tafsir, the interpretation and explanation of the Quran. The exercise, which is in line with Islam's guiding principles and the intense devotional activities marking the 30-day Ramadan period, also saw the president joining in prayers for justice and enhanced welfare of humanity. They also emphasized the need for forgiveness, mercy, and kindness to the poor. The chief imam of the State House Mosque, Sheikh Abdul Wahab Sulaiman, who led the congregation, condemned terrorists who have taken the religion as a cover to kill and loot the property of fellow citizens. He prayed to Allah to avert the activities of terrorists, bandits, kidnappers, as well as the occurrence of COVID-19 pandemic and the unforeseen hardships it brought to the country and the global community. Still in the news, a member of the lower chamber of the National Assembly, Dozie Nwankwo, has described constituency projects as one of the cardinal means of effective representation of the constituents. Speaking during a meeting with All Progressives Grand Alliance, that is APGA-APGA, stakeholders in the support services sponsored by him. The lawmaker, who represents Njikoka, Anaucha, and Donokofia Federal Constituency of Anambra State, said he had attracted quite a few projects, including the ICT Training Center for Youth at Enugu Uko near Awka. While urging the constituents to vote wisely in the forthcoming 2023 general election, he used the occasion to declare his ambition to vie for the Anambra Central Senatorial District poll under the platform of the party. He then urged them to work for the success of his aspiration to enable him to attract more dividends of democracy in the area. When we return, news from other parts of Africa. Stay with us. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The World Now at 4 on Hills TV. A Rwandan court of appeal on Monday rejected a bid to extend a life imprisonment judgment to a 25-year jail sentence for Paul Rusesabagina, who portrayed in the movie Hotel Rwanda, sheltering hundreds of people during the 1994 genocide. Rusesabagina, 67, was convicted in September on 8 terrorism charges related to the activities of an organization opposed to President Paul Kagame's rule and is being held in a Rwandan prison, though he has denied all charges and refused to take part in the trial. Away from that, on the fringes of an ANC conference over the weekend, South Africa's president rejected anti-migrant group Operation Dudula, calling it a vigilante force-like organization taking illegal action. This comment comes few days after ANC spokesperson seemed to back partisans who supported the operation. President Cyril Ramaphosa has slammed ANC support for Operation Dudula. Speaking to local media houses on Sunday after a party conference in Mpumalanga, eastern South Africa, he argued his party couldn't back the organization. His remark came after ANC spokesperson Pule Babe seemed to back partisans who supported the operation in an interview. The socio-economic situation worsened by COVID contributed to the popularity of the Dudula movement, for whom foreign nationals are stealing jobs that belong to South Africans. And joining those unhappy with the management of illegal immigration, President Ramaphosa told them to act within the framework of the law. We now move to other parts of the world after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. This is The World Now at 4 on Hills TV. Ahead of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's UN address, the country's security service, that is the SBU, has claimed Russia is planning a large-scale provocation in the southern city of Mariupol with the intention of blaming it on Ukrainian troops. In a Telegram post, the SBU said that data shows Russian forces plan to gather bodies of Mariupol's residents killed by the Russians themselves in one place and present them as mass victims of Ukrainian troops. Russia denies any involvement in civilian killings in the town of Bucha, near Kiev, claiming that the visual evidence has been faked, but its denials in the face of mounting evidence have met with outrage. And now let's head on to Spain, where Spain has become the latest European Union nation to kick out Russian diplomats amid a global clamor over alleged civilian killings by the Kremlin's troops in Ukraine. Madrid's decision to eject 25 diplomats and embassy staff follows similar moves by Germany, France, Italy, Sweden, and Denmark. Spain's foreign minister says he expects Russia to respond with its own expulsions. Moscow continues to deny its troops committed atrocities in the Ukrainian city of Bucha and elsewhere. And now let's head on to China, where Chinese authorities have extended their lockdown of Shanghai to cover all its 25 million people after a fresh surge in COVID cases. Initially, there had been separate measures for the eastern and western sides, but the whole city is now subject to indefinite restrictions. Shanghai is the largest single city to be locked down to date. The important financial hub has battled a new wave of coronavirus infections for more than a month. Reported cases have risen to more than 13,000 a day, although the numbers are not high by some international standards. They reported difficulties in ordering food and water online, with restrictions when customers can place their orders because of a shortage of supplies and delivery staff. And now talking business, Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency has denied responsibility for a gunboat that reportedly sank in Lagos. The Namasa Barogo gunboat, reportedly in the fleet of Global West vessel specialists, was alleged to have been parked at the Kirikiri terminal behind the Namasa Resource Center. In a video circulating online, seafarers on board adjoining vessels blamed Namasa for negligence. They had reported the impending disaster to Namasa for a long time. However, the Assistant Director, Public Relations of Namasa, Osage Edwards, said the boat and the management had remained a subject of litigation. According to him, the affected boat has been under the custody of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, he said. Collectively, the boats and their management have remained a subject of litigation and under the custody of the EFCC for years. Osage added that the agency had made efforts to reactivate some of the boats, but has been constrained by legal encumbrances. A massive fire in an expensive market in the capital of Somaliland destroyed property worth up to $2 billion according to local officials in the self-proclaimed autonomous region of Somalia. At least 28 people were wounded in the Friday night fire that ravaged Wahin Market, a major source of livelihood for the residents of Hargeisa. The loss on the eve of the holy month of Ramadan sparked despair among many at home and solidarity efforts among outsiders who say they will help Somaliland in rebuilding the market. A preliminary report released by a national task force looking into the fire estimates losses of between $1.5 billion and $2 billion. The cause of the fire is yet to be determined, but some traders in Hargeisa said they believe a bad electrical connection may have been the cause. The disaster has united Somalis, with President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed of Somalia reaching out to Somaliland leader Musa Bihi Abdi in a phone call between the two. Abdi, who has been Somaliland's president since 2017, has been pursuing international recognition of its territory's self-declared independence, which Somalia opposes. Still to come on The World Now at 4 on Hills TV is Sports with Aynan Lubem. Stay with us.
Thank you, Uduak Daniel. Welcome to Sports News. I am Aynan Lubem. Former Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr has urged the Sports Ministry to probe the Nigeria Football Federation, that is the NFF, for Super Eagles' inability to qualify for the Qatar 2022 World Cup. The Eagles were eliminated on the away goal rules following a 1-1 draw with Ghana in Abuja and in the second leg of their playoffs on Tuesday. The 68-year-old, who was disengaged by the FIFA last December in an acrimonious circumstances after a record-setting 5 years, 4 months and 10 days in charge of the 3 times African champions, also queried why he was sacked last December. Prior to his sack, The Franco-German qualified the Eagles for the 2018 World Cup in Russia, as well as 2 consecutive Africa Cup of Nations in 2019 Egypt and 2021 Cameroon respectively. Meanwhile, the NFF General Secretary Mohamed Sanusi revealed that the federation could only be held accountable if it can be established that they failed in their responsibility to provide the enabling environment and logistics for the team to thrive. The Confederation of African Football President Patrice Motsepe says he has been reassured by the progress made by Ivory Coast on a visit to the next Africa Cup of Nations host on Monday. The Ivory Coast is due to host the Cup of Nations in June and July of 2023, just 18 months on from the last AFCON in Cameroon at the beginning of this year. The continental showpiece is reverting to the same media slot in which the 2019 Cup of Nations was held in Egypt. Still talking sports, former Egyptian coach Achraf Shobi has announced that Mohamed Salah has intentions of signing a new deal at Liverpool. Shobi said he advised Salah, who is 29 years, to leave Anfield, only for the Egypt forward to say he was likely to extend a contract that runs until June 2023. Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp said he was happy with progress on the new deal. Salah said in a January transfer window that he wanted to stay at Liverpool, but that his future was up to the club. And that's sports news on World Now at 4. Back to Uduak Daniel for the rest of the news.
Thank you so much, Boss Ainan Lubem, for that one. We'll still go on with the World Now at 4, but before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that President Buhari prays for peace, prosperity. We also told you Rwandan courts uphold Hotel Rwanda hero's 25-year sentence. We told you Spain joins other countries in expelling Russian diplomats. We brought to the fore on sports the fact that Salah to sign Liverpool contract. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV, YouTube channel at Hills TV. I am Uduak Daniel. Thank you for watching.